There's a lot of chaos and disorder amongst this planet, this plane, this wherever we are in existence, right? And the only thing that we can control is our peace. How do we get there? We have to understand who we are. To understand who we are, it's not based on the surroundings. It's not based on the people you hang out with. It's based on where you came from, where your soul came from, where you first originally beamed down onto here, right? You look at all this knowledge that's starting to come out now, it's because we're in the age of knowing, the golden age, the age of where the mind is supreme, the mind is king, the mind is all. It says that we're going back to all this creative, all this abundant, all this cosmic information and knowledge, right? You can't get there unless you understand who you are first. In a world of chaos, you can't find peace in it, then you're just going to think that you're just another one of these survivalists, right? You just believe all you're supposed to do here is just survive, and that's it. Now, that's one of the most demoralizing things you could ever think. It's just to think you're some animal that's supposed to be on this place just to reproduce and die. That is so demoralizing because it's so sad to hear yourself say that, because that is the most unempowering thing you can say, because you don't understand how powerful you are. And to get back to your power, you gotta get back to where you came from. You're not gonna like it when I say this, but I do not care. You came from astrology. That's where you got beamed down from. If you don't believe me, watch the Truman Show. Tells it to you point blank. If you have the eyes to see it, you'll see it right there. It's like, oh, that makes sense. And then what else? The movie Soul. Disney made, or not Disney, what is that? Is it Disney? I don't know if it's a Disney movie or not, but Soul. Soul and the Truman Show. Tells you the same thing. You were a star that fell in density into the physical world, right? Period, point blank. And if you think that you are lost, it's because you don't remember where you came from. And the Truman Show and this movie Soul, just playing them together, you start to realize, oh wait, I'm not from here, I'm just on here, right? Once you get that mentality, this whole survivalistic mindset is going to be drained out of your way, and you're not going to feel like you need to be here to survive. You need to survive. Oh my gosh, job, bills. Bro, I'm so much in debt right now, but I'm so much at peace because I understand this. This can help me solve everything because I have so much concentrated and focused direction and a soul-led direction to where I know everything's going to work out, because you feel it on such a deep level that you think that your whole life has just been one cloudy fog previously. But once you're in that understanding now, it's just so bright, so beautiful, so blissful, because you now know where you're going. You're not lost, you're not confused, you're not anxious, because you understand and you know. Knowing destroys anxiety. Inner knowing destroys anxiety, right? So let's get into this, right? The first things you want to hop into, astrology. More particularly, Draconic astrology. D-R-A-C-O-N-I-C, Draconic astrology. The difference between that and your regular natal astrology is Draconic astrology is based on the moon, and the way that you feel this fucking energy or these ideas, this mindset through astrology based on your Draconian astrology, you are going to feel this at such a deep-rooted core. You realize that everybody, your mom and your dad that didn't realize this stuff, you can now see it 100% clear, because it's going to follow down your soul's lineage, right? You're going to notice things that just are so point blank in front of your face that you just felt like you were blind the whole time. But now once you see it for what it is, you now understand why that was there, why it was like that. Because it's going to feel so deep and intense. You're going to question it first. But if you have the cojones, right? If you have the willpower, the mindset, if you can just sit down and just look, process, and slowly go through it, everything is going to just check, right? It might not hit you the first second, but just sit with it. And I know that sounds tough. It's hard to sit these days, but just put your phone down, put the screen away, go sit, look at a wall, and just think about whatever you just read and just see how many times it connected back into multiple repeated patterns in your life, right? Now, that's the first step to getting back to peace. Learning that you came from the sky and going back to the sky to understand why you're here, so you're not lost, you're not confused, you're not anxious, and you now know direction to take in life and challenges you may face and things / patterns you have to break free of, right? Back to peace, back to Draconic, which is your soul, astrology, right? And Truman Show and Soul, those two movies gonna give it to you right in your face of how this whole place works, right? And if you don't believe any of that, then I guess you don't believe in The Simpsons, right? You don't believe The Simpsons predicted a lot of things. Trump coming into presidency, the whole Titanic thing, I don't want to say that, I don't think I can say it, but the two, that came into context, but you understand how predictive programming is just the media and stuff like that, right? And once you have the eyes to see how things are, then you will see it for what they are. And you're not scared, you're just prepared, you know what's gonna happen because you see it all the time. So yeah, period, point blank, back to peace. Start with the stars, start with Draconic astrology. Go watch the Truman Show and Soul to see all this stuff tie in together and connect, and realize that you are above this survivalistic mindset. Live from your heart, live from what you're knowing, live from your direction. Your intuition is going to start to pop up a lot more. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics to get back to peace. Of course, there's a bunch of other things you can do, but this is the first step. You understand this on an internal level, you have compass, you have a guide, now you know which direction to take and which way to go. Thank y'all for tuning in. Boomskis.